Yo, what's going on, guys? And we are here. All right, live. Let me cue up the music. I'm inviting Jackson right now. But what is going on? It is 4 p.m. Central Time, 5 p.m. Eastern Time if you're on the East Coast, and 3 p.m. if you're on the West Coast. I hope you guys are doing great. We got some basketball for y'all today. And talking about the Warriors, Thunder, and a few other teams. So let's get right into today. And yeah, so the rundown is Warriors. We'll be talking about their rookies as well as the Thunder rookies. We'll be mainly talking about Patrick Baldwin for the Warriors. And then for the Thunder, we're going to be talking about how Chet Holmgren injury actually opens up a bunch of minutes for their players. Now, with that being said, I will say then after that, we'll be talking about Clippers' health primarily. Is Kawhi Leonard and Paul George going to be able to stay healthy? We'll talk about the Toronto Raptors bench and the Cleveland Cavaliers bench as well. Well, their depth, the Cavaliers' depth that they added. So, with Jackson joining us soon enough, I hope you guys have all had a splendid Monday. It's the beginning of the work week. Nobody likes Mondays, but you got to do what you got to do. Power through and live. We're joined here by the beautiful man with a button-down shirt. Oh, polo, golf polo. Is that like what material is that? Is that polo like striped?
It's really fucking good material. Is it striped?
Look at that. Do you see yourself? It's like I think it's like satin or something. So it looks like you have stripes. You look like a zebra sometimes.
Let's find out.
Up nips.
There's nothing here.
No tag. Look at that shredded body.
Ooh, it's 75% polyester and 25% spandex.
Oh, that's a bad blend. I'm just kidding. I just called you dad. Shade Texan called you dad. Been drinking a lot of beer lately?
What are you talking to me?
Yeah.
What?
I said Shade said you have a beer belly. I mean a dad bod.
Really?
No, he said dad. He called you dad. And I'm saying you've been drinking a lot of beers lately?
Actually, yeah. Drinking way too many beers.
Way too many beers.
That was a fun trip.
I'm glad to hear that. Any news that you're excited to talk about that happened over the weekend that you want to start the show off, or?
I don't know what I took it off. I don't know what went on. I drove like 15 straight hours myself.
Danilo Gallinari tore his meniscus, and so did Gary Harris.
I saw that, but they'll come back, right?
Yeah, you don't want Nabe. You saw that one. Signed with the Nets. Nets are also interested in Markieff Morris now. Yeah. And with that being said, I believe also that's basically it. So let's just get right into today's show. And we're going to start off with the Warriors rookies. I'm going to pull it up. And I think it's actually a very interesting situation with the three guys that they did draft, which we have right here for us. Give me 1 second and let me cue it up.
You have class today?
Yeah, I did. Actually, no, I just had work and what do you call it?
Fucking gas, dude.
I had work from 10 to 2, and then I went to the gym and played one-on-one from 12 to 2.
Right.
And then I had to run around. I actually bought some makeup because I have like a scratch and then like a pimple right here. I have a pimple here and then a scratch right here. So I bought like makeup, like it's like acne. Like no, it's like it's for guys. It's like it covers up it. You know, like that salicylic acid stuff. It's like where you put it. It's like this kind of like acid that helps people your acne. I don't really get acne often, but I'm like 23, so it pisses me off. Either way,
good shower.
I do shower, yeah. So, but I showered twice today, and I actually started sweating for like a third time today. So, well, fuck you. Now we're going to talk about the Golden State Warriors. Guy Santos, I believe, is a draft and stash. Primarily, the two guys that we are talking about are Ryan Rollins and Patrick Baldwin. Supposedly, Patrick Baldwin has continued to impress. Like, supposedly, he's incredibly smart, high intellect, and they believe that he could make an impact on the roster sooner rather than later. And I want to hear your thoughts down below. Out of these three guys, who are you most excited? Again, I'll remind you, Guy Santos has not been signed. And if I believe from everything I've read, Guy Santos, he played in Brazil last year for Santos. Not Santos, Minas. My apology. I literally mentioned two wrong basketball clubs, but Minas. And I believe what they're going to do with Guy Santos is most likely send him over as a drafting stash, hopefully in Spain, Turkey, or Italy. So out of Baldwin and Rollins, who are you most excited?
We got no love for Mac McClung. Oh, are these just rookies?
Yeah, just rookies. We could talk about Matt McClung and other bottom of the bench guys, but I wanted specifically to talk about this year's rookie class. I think we're in a what is your thoughts, I guess, between Baldwin and Rollins? Who do you think is going to make more of an impact? I probably think you're in agreement with me that it's Baldwin, but
yeah, Rollins will be nice long term, I think. But Patrick Bowen Jr. out of Milwaukee, I mean, I think if he went to a different school where his dad wasn't the coach, I think he probably would be. I think his stock would be a lot higher. I mean, it's kind of. I don't know too much about the Milwaukee basketball program, but can't be. It's not a Duke. It's not a North Carolina. I'm really excited to see how Patrick Baldwin plays because he's kind of like a point forward in his own regard. I mean, look at him. He's tall as hell.
6'9", but he has no shot creation. I personally see him as a guy that, yes, he can. He's not really a passer. He averaged like 1 assist a game. Does he have the ability? Yeah. Dude, my problem is I really think Patrick Baldwin, at the very least, he's a similar player to Otto Porter. But at best, I see Patrick Baldwin being a very poor man's Michael Porter Jr. from that season that Michael Porter Jr. was like the second coming of Kevin Durant.
Baldwin can't shoot like that, though.
He can, though. Everyone, if you read his pre-draft stuff, every single person basically said that it doesn't make sense for someone who has such good shooting mechanics to have such a bad shooting year. And from what I read, the reason why he shot so bad was, I believe it was almost 90% of Patrick Baldwin's shots were heavily contested in college.
I mean, there you go.
And he took, I think, 60% of his shots were difficult shots, and only like 10% of his shots were off of catch and shoots. Most of his shots were off the dribble or like him attempting to create for himself. And this is what a lot of NBA draft analysis realized was, oh, this guy can't create for himself. He can't create. He was put in a league where he should have been able to, like, look at Santi Aldama. He played in the same level competition that Baldwin did, and he averaged 2 back-to-back seasons, basically 25 and 13,
Okay.
On like 50% and like 35% from three. He put up like huge numbers because he was playing in lower and Baldwin struggled, but everyone says Baldwin played with nobodies. So
yeah, and he also played 10 games. So,
yeah,
I mean, you can use like a Colin Sexton example. Sexton shot last season before he got injured. He played, I think, the same amount, 11 games, maybe 9.
And he
shot horribly. Yeah, he shot horribly. I mean, sometimes you're just not, especially if you don't have too much support with your teammates. Like, yeah, it makes sense. So, yeah, I'm sure he's a better shooter than his stats give credit to. I would imagine he's going to have an impact on this team this upcoming season.
You think?
I would imagine.
I just think it comes down to how well of a shooter he actually is, and will he I just get scared that does he need his measurements? He was one of the most unathletic guys at the NBA draft, and that's kind of one of my fears, but I just think it comes down to, will this be a team that relies on they added a lot of veterans this past season. So I think Patrick Baldwin out of Ryan Rollins and the two of them, he's definitely going to get the most playing time. If we had to put money on it, I agree that he's going to be the guy who at least probably plays 10 to 15 minutes a night at the very least. But again, I get scared that I think it comes down. Do you agree with me on this? That his playing time comes down to his shooting, maybe his defense, but I think it's really his shooting is what's going to keep him on the floor.
Yeah, that would make sense. I think Kuminga and Jermichael, I also think kind of how they play will also maybe be a little bit of an indicator.
Yeah.
I mean, Kuminga wasn't a bad shooter last year at all.
He wasn't terrible. It was just that, like, Kuminga. So you remember I talked about Kuminga was supposedly shortchanging the Warriors. Supposedly amongst the Warriors organization, people aren't happy with. I guess he's kind of reserved, is the way to put it, and I guess the organization isn't a fan of that. They feel like he isn't putting the work, like he's kind of been distanced this offseason. Like a lot of people, I assume in the Warriors, I guess, organization were expecting him to, after this season, to come in and work harder. But Stephen A said that it seems like he might have just distanced himself, even though he just made his international basketball debut for the Republic of Congo, or Democratic Republic of Congo, and put up 18 and 10, I think.
There you go, man. I think he's got enough raw talent as well. I don't put too much stock into that. I mean, you could look at even Ja. We talk about Ja partying a lot. I just think more so that's a Warriors thing. Like, you hear nonstop reports about like Jordan Poole, Moses Moody, like they won't leave the gym. Like they're just working.
Yeah.
All they're doing is working. Kuminga, I don't think he's not working. Like I think he's
definitely working.
I would imagine he's just more to himself.
Yeah, it seems like he's reserved. He's also from the Congo, so he's not from America. So he just probably just feels like he's always done his own thing. So when he got to the NBA, he won a championship. He was a lottery pick, top 10 pick. So I feel like probably in his mind, hey, it's been working so far, so why change it? And I agree. I don't believe that he's not practicing. I don't believe that he's not working out. But what I think is, it's definitely interesting. What?
If it goes on for another year, maybe if we're having this conversation next year, but I think the way he played in his limited amount of time, and we saw him get some starts there at the end as well. I don't think. If you got a guy like putting up essentially when he would start like 17 and 8, I don't think they'll be complaining for too long or murmuring for too long. If we go into next offseason and they still have concerns about his work, if Kuminga does not improve this season, that's more of a kicker to me.
So listen to this. So Moses Moody played average during the regular season 11.7 minutes a night in 52 games, while Kuminga played 70 games, about 17 minutes a night. Out of those 2 minutes, do you think – I think Paul Baldwin's going to be more in a Moses Moody role.
Was that Kuminga?
Kuminga played 70 games, 17 minutes a night.
Yeah.
Moses Moody played 52 games, 11.7 minutes a night. I think, if I had to be honest, I think Baldwin will probably play, 11 minutes a night and play 50.
Oh, okay.
I think he'll have more of a Moses Moody role his rookie year than a Jonathan Kuminga role. Like, Jonathan Kuminga was an actual part of the rotation.
Yeah. Looking at his starting stats right now, 12.3, 5 rebounds, 6.5.
How many games did he start?
12.
12? Okay. Yeah, so I definitely say what?
Well, so, like, if you look at, first month, November, 7 minutes a night. 2nd December, 12 minutes a night. January, 16 minutes a night. Then you saw the Draymond Green injury, and then you see the minutes go up 16 to 25 in February to 23, and you see an increase in every single stat here. So they kind of eased him in there. It was almost like the Rockets with Josh Christopher, where he's still playing in almost every game, but they're easing him in there. Maybe he's getting those 7 minutes a night, he's getting those 10 minutes a night. Then he starts, kind of getting adjusted to the NBA flow, NBA speed, and they start playing him about 20 minutes a night. And, his post All-Star stats gained 8 minutes a night. His points went up from 8 to 12, rebounds doubled. I think he's going to get a big opportunity, but yeah, I don't know if Patrick Baldwin's going to get necessarily that kind of run. I mean, that's 25 minutes a night when Dre goes down. I mean, that's some solid time. He's going to have to come out there and be really efficient for him in order for them to trust that. Because when you're playing with Steph Curry and you're playing with Golden State Warriors, you got to play in the system. You got to know what to do. You got to know what not to do. You got to know where to be. You got to know when to cut. You got to run in transition. You got to do a different thing. So I think they'll probably just kind of play it by ear. Take the Moses Moody approach.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think just ease him in there, and they were doing the same thing with Kuminga. It's just that Kuminga was surprised everyone was able to make an impact sooner rather than later. So that's why Kuminga ended up becoming a key part of the rotation, which Patrick Baldwin could do himself. But I think, yes, that he's going to start off in a Moses Moody role. And I think it comes down to his shooting and his defense. And you just need to know. I think come January, we'll know if Pat Baldwin's an actual part of that rotation or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I expect Ryan Rollins. They're Jordan Pooling him. Ryan Rollins is a guy I think who has the potential to be a CJ McCollum type player. And for me, if you look at how Jordan Poole was brought into the NBA, his rookie season, Jordan Poole, yes, it was during their bad season. But the following year, Jordan Poole only played 20 minutes a night. And for me, maybe Jordan Poole might have not been the best guy to compare him to, but I think what they're going to do is Jordan Poole spent a lot of time in the G League. And I think Ryan Rollins, they're going to have him in the G League for a while. And they did this with Damian Lee. Damian Lee, when he came out, I know he started off with the Atlanta Hawks, but before that he was with the Santa Cruz Warriors for a year. And after playing a little bit for the Hawks, he got his shot with the Warriors, and he ended up playing 4 years. And in his first season, actually with the Warriors, he only played 11.7 minutes a night. That's funny. They must love that number.
That's the pocket for him. It's right in the slot.
Now, let's pull up the Thunder rookies. As you guys know, Chet Holmgren will be missing the year due to a Liz Frank injury, and we've talked about it. We don't think the Liz Frank injury is indicative of him being injury prone. It's just a freak accident that he just stepped wrong. Honestly, he just stepped wrong and he hurt his foot. But we both admitted that we do agree that we had concerns. I think anybody who follows basketball, you're an idiot if you don't say that everyone has to have a little bit of concern that Chet Holmgren might have some durability issues. And the Liz Frank, I think it's not that. The only problem with the Liz Frank is he's going to have hardware in his foot. And you don't like it when a guy has hardware in his foot. But I think I think he's going to be fine. I don't think there's any reason for people to be like, oh my God, he's already injury prone. He's already a bust. He's going to be, never ever going to be able to play a full season in his life, Yeah.
And
I think that's wrong.
That's what's so crazy is that's a football injury. Like that's just a straight up football.
So, okay, let me find something to explain how. Okay, you see this piece of paper? Imagine this is your foot. Okay, a Liz Frank injury happens. Imagine this is your toes. Your toes go like this, and your foot is like this, and they basically crunch together. So this is your heel. This is your heel where I'm shaking my hand right here. This is your heel, and these are your toes. So your toes go up, and your heel pushes down. So while your toes are, you get what I'm saying? And you compress it together, and the fat toe gets disjointed from the ligaments that attach all the toes and metatarsals together. That's what happened to Chet Holmgren.
It's like picking a burrito. Yeah, it's such a crazy. You don't hear that, Dr. Cyro. You don't hear that much in basketball. So hopefully I don't know what he was doing. I don't know if he was working out his foot.
No, it was the LeBron. So I watched. Do you not watch the?
No, I know how he got injured. I'm just saying, like that should not be This should not have happened. This just shouldn't have happened.
I know that first off, I don't like this picture. Is it blurry, the picture, to you?
Yeah.
I'm gonna do a different one. I don't like it. But my whole thing with these guys is I really, really do think that this is a team. Like, I have no problem with Chet Holmgren. Just again, you never like it when a guy has hardware in his foot. But with that being said, I think this is a better picture. I think, look, we're gonna sit here and we're gonna all agree that Chet Holmgren is going to be a good basketball player, and this injury does not affect him. They're at basically every other player who's missed their rookie year has been an all-star Hall of Fame qualifying player. What I want to talk about is not Chet Holmgren. I want to talk about these other three guys: J-Dub, J. Will, and Ousmane Dang. Out of those three guys now, Chet Holmgren's injury, what does it do? Gives them minutes. Okay? And that was something that we were like, well, will J. Will be able to get some minutes? Because we knew J-Dub and Ousmane Dang were going to get minutes. They were lottery picks. But J. Will now, looking like this guy's going to have some time to really develop.
Yeah, this works out perfectly for him, unfortunately, because it's an injury. But Chet gets some time to put on some weight, work out his foot if he wasn't already working out his foot, and gives everyone else more run. And, we've talked about JRE, Darius Bazley. This is, I think we talked about this last week. I mean, it just sets them up. It's unfortunate, but I remember I used the Philly example. Like, they had, Joel's not playing their year. They get the third pick the next season. Unfortunately, Joel Okafor didn't work out, but you're set up really well and you have all this money. And every Oklahoma City fan knows what they got right now. You need to find your guy, and they've already found their guy, and they already have a nice supporting cast. And hopefully now we get a little bit better of a look at those three on the left, and maybe one of those guys is a rising star as well. I mean, 2 lottery picks right there. So it's a good time to be a Thunder fan for sure.
Yeah. So out of these, first off, do you see how tall Ousmane Dang is? Like, Chet Holmgren's 7'3", okay? Right, 7'3" or 7'4"?
Everyone's tall on that pick.
Well, Jay Will's 6'6", and he looks like a midget next to them. Actually, Sam Presti literally looks tiny. Sam Presti in the far right, he's probably 6'1", and that's how tall. This is what I would look like. I would probably look like Sam Presti, and I'm a tall guy. Like, Sam Presti, I'm pretty sure 6'1", 6'2". Like, this is what I would look like next to these guys. But this is me also at the rec. Like, I usually play with guys who are like 6'4", 6'5", and half the time I'm like standing there. I'm just like, I'm usually the tallest in my friend group. Like, but Ousmane Dang, if Chet's 7'3", right? Chet's 7'3" or 7'1".
I thought he's 7'1".
If he's 7'1", yeah, he's 7'1". Ousmane Dang's like 6'10", 6'11" easily. Same thing with J-Dub. And wait, J-Will. J-Dub's 6'6". J-Will's 6'11" or 6'10". He might be 6'10" because Ousmane Dang looks taller. I also love how Ousmane Dang's the only one who showed up in a suit.
What do you mean?
Chet's just wearing a button-down shirt, pair of slacks, and
is that not a suit jacket?
That looks like kind of like a blazer, like how people, like fashionable people, will wear, like, it doesn't even look like a suit jacket. No, I think it's just an overcoat. And then the other two are in polos.
Yeah. All white. He's got the right idea.
So I personally think out of these three guys, J-Dub from Santa Clara is going to be the best. This out of the rookie years. I think J-Dub's going to have the best rookie year.
I'm going to go Dang.
I mean, Dang did play professionally. He had a rough 2/3 of the season, but that last third of the season, last 10 games, he looked like legit. I think Ousmane Dang has the best defensive potential, and he's a better ball handler. But J-Dubs, dude, he was a point guard. and then he grew to 6'6", I think, in college. Like, he's a
From
wing.
that point.
Now, he's a wing player in the NBA, but they want him to be a secondary ball handler.
Hell yeah.
I also want to say, basically nobody had Jay Williams going in the lottery. And I kept saying I thought he was going to go to the Cavs at 14. I didn't get that, but hey, I was one of the few, I think one of the, if not the only draft person saying that I think Jalen Williams is going lottery.
Which pick was he?
I believe, because didn't they trade back in?
Yeah, they did a bunch.
He was, because they basically had Ousmane Deng and Jalen Williams back-to-back picks, I think 12 and 13 or 12 and 11, right?
They
It was something like that.
Cleveland. Yeah, I think
it was back-to-back picks. They traded, I can't remember, but Ousmane Deng and Jalen Williams from Santa Clara were back-to-back picks, basically. Because I remember when it happened, we were all surprised. We were like, holy crap, they just drafted back-to-back wings.
Yeah. Deng was about to be a Cav.
Either one was going to, whoever fell to the Cavs was going to be a Cav.
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, Ochai was always their safe option for the Cavs, but I was surprised that I like Jalen Williams there because I really love the idea of Shea, Josh Giddey, Jalen Williams. Okay. And then you have like either Darius Baisley and obviously in the future Chet Holmgren, but it would probably starting lineup would be Darius Baisley and I don't know who would be playing power forward. Would it be Dort? Yeah,
Power
Dort.
forward?
Well, yeah, dude. Dort's a thick boy. Like
Dort on the best player.
Oh yeah, Lou Dort's an insanely good defender. Lou Dort, wow, whoa, I take that back. I guess I'm not playing Lou Dort at power forward, because I always thought Lou Dort was 6'5". Lou Dort's 6'3", dude.
Wow.
Yeah, I did not know that. I thought he was 6'5". He plays so much bigger. You agree with that, right? I
thought he was 6'4".
6'4" at least. I thought he was 6'5". Dude, he has a 6'8" wingspan. That's why. So never mind. Let me take that back. I would do the lineup. I don't know who would play power forward though. I want to see this Thunder team go like no center. Darius Baisley at center. Okay. And then or Jeremiah Robinson Earl, Darius Baisley is the front court, Jalen Williams, Shea, and Josh Giddey. Like what?
They got a lot of cooks. Can you hear me all right? I got really bad Wi-Fi right now.
No, you're fine. You're perfectly fine.
I want Baisley playing.
I know we're both fans of Baisley, but right here, I just think Jalen Williams, because of his ball handling and how good he was during the summer league, he's the most ready. Just because he'll be able to be a secondary playmaker, he can create for others, he can create for himself, he can catch and shoot, he can drive, he can slash. Ousmane Deng showed that he can do all of that and defend. I mean, only thing with Jalen Williams is the defense. Ousmane Deng, it's just that he didn't have he wasn't super good in the summer league, and he only had like 10 or 12 games really in the NBL that he looked really good there. So the shooting just seems like it's still a little suspect, and I think that's what's going to keep him off the floor. Plus, they still need to figure out Poku. But
yeah,
there's a lot of players that the Thunder are going to have to, because like Ousmane, they're going to have to decide between Ousmane Deng and Poku, because I think they both have similar skill sets, except Poku's just lankier. But similar skill sets, point forwards who can do a little bit of everything.
Yeah, they're big. Wow.
All right, closing argument before we go to the next topic.
Yeah, nothing.
You got nothing? So you're saying you're sticking with Ousmane Deng as your best Thunder rookie?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going with J-Dub from Santa Clara.
This is really shitty, but dude, I think I gotta get a quick 5 here.
You taking a dump?
I'm like sweating for like 30 minutes here.
You're good. I'll run through this and I'll do the next segment until you come back.
My bad.
No, you're good. You're good. So we're gonna go over to Kawhi Leonard and Paul George while our boy takes a shit. I'm actually holding a shit in myself. Maybe I have more self control than his ass does. But let's talk about Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, and it's definitely interesting because these guys are good. My dog is like sniffing my bag profusely. I don't know why. She's enjoying the house. Stop sniffing my bag like that, girl. But we're going to talk about Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. The reason why I want to talk about Kawhi Leonard and Paul George is it's the Clippers' health. The Clippers, if this team stays fully healthy for the entirety of a year, oh my God, they're the championship contenders. I think we'll all agree this team will win a championship. They are so loaded. Ty Lue is one of the best coaches in the NBA. He's one of the best play drawers up, as well as after timeout plays. He's so good at ATPs. Okay. And I just think it comes down. First off, we just need Kawhi to be 90% of himself and Paul George to continue. And that's another thing that nobody really talks. We all assume that they're going to both come back and be fully healthy and continue doing what they do. And hopefully that's the case, but we need them to be healthy. And this is a team that the Clippers have continued to, make runs in the postseason. The worst part is with the Clippers, Kawhi's only played 50 or so games both the seasons that he's managed to play, and Kawhi's only 31. And with this team, I just really love what the Clippers are doing due to the fact that they have Reggie Jackson. And I don't know if John Wall or Reggie's going to start. I think Reggie should be the six-man John Wall. They have Norman Powell, which was a steal of a pickup, okay, in my opinion. Then Terrence Mann is great. I still love Terrence Mann. They still have Luke Kennard, who's a great shooter. They still got Marcus Morris, who, he's still holding on. He's still dropping points, 15.4 points last year, okay, a night. And Robert Covington was cooking with gas last year when he got sent there. He was literally, he played less minutes than he did with the Blazers and averaged more points, averaged better stats with the Clippers playing less minutes, okay? It was unbelievable. They still have Batum. They brought back Amir Coffey, which was needed. Amir Coffey is a guy who's hella underrated. Comes in a little glue guy who can hit the three-point shot. And they drafted Musa Diabate, and they have Jason Preston and Brandon Boston from years prior's drafts. But just Kawhi Leonard, John Wall, Paul George, Norman Powell, Reggie Jackson, Terrence Mann, right there. That's 6 deep. Ivica Zubac, okay? That's 7 deep. Luke Kennard, 8 deep. Marcus Morris, that's 9 deep. Robert Covington, 10 deep. Batum, 11 deep. Coffee, they're 12 deep. 12 deep. And this is the team that, the Clippers were still able to, they made it to the play-in this past year. And I still can't believe this is what's happening. I'm talking about the fact that the Clippers are a team that, look, right here, Norman Powell was a steal. And, I completely forgot about the Norman Powell-Kawhi connection that Thomas Perry just made up. And the players – and Thomas Perry says it great right here. This is a team that knows how to play their role. They know how to play their role. And it's unbelievable that for the past 2 years, they've been resilient and overcame injuries like it was nothing. And the wild part was they were a play-in team this past year. The year before, they were 4th seed. Yes, they lost Kawhi during the playoffs, but I think this Clippers team, they're 12 deep if fully healthy, and if they're fully healthy, they're my championship favorite right now out the West. No cap.
Yeah, for real, dude. I mean, they got a great thing going. They're greatly coached. They have every piece you need, especially now with John Wall in town. Last time we saw, was it Paul George's? It wasn't I know he played 30 games past year. Was it the year before he came in 3rd in MVP or 5th in MVP?
I think it was that one, where Kawhi missed most of it. Yeah, and Kawhi came back for the playoffs and got hurt again.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, dude. I mean, both of these guys are at that point in your careers where you're late prime here. They just need to stay healthy. That's their biggest thing is just staying healthy. I'm fully confident that a healthy Kawhi Leonard, you are going to.
I apologize.
You're
Paul
fine.
George came with in third in MVP voting his last year at Oklahoma City.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Kawhi. It was the year when Paul George got hurt, and Kawhi came in fifth. Their first season in LA. Kawhi only playing 57 games, came in fifth. for MVP.
27, 7, and 5. 2
Yeah.
steals. Yeah, they just got to stay healthy. And the good news is, we know the load management. We know Kawhi likes his load management, and they got plenty of depth there. So he's fine.
First off, before we continue, Luka Doncic in his second season, I believe, came in fourth in the MVP voting, and then the following season came in sixth when he put up better stats. And his second season came in fucking fourth place in MVP voting. That's unreal. But no, we're talking about Kawhi. I think, last time we had a Kawhi that played almost 60 games, he came in freaking third for MVP. Last time we really had a healthy Paul George, he came in third in MVP. We got 2 MVP candidates sitting right in front of us in the screen. And
that's the issue. Last time we had a healthy Paul George was 3 years ago.
But look, this is what I agree with Thomas Perry right here. This team, if you take off Kawhi and Paul George, are 10 deep. They don't need to play Kawhi or Paul George 36 minutes a night. Guys, let's be honest. Let's play 28, 30 minutes a night. If you need to play more on certain nights because it's a close game, sure. But let's start Kawhi, and let's have them only play the first 3 quarters, okay? And hopefully, by having them only play the first 3 quarters majority, they will have built a big enough lead that they can rest most fourth quarters of the regular season. That will allow them to stay healthy, and they have the team to do that.
Yeah.
I know that's look, I simplified that. There's way more complications with that in the rotations, but you get what I'm saying. Have them, play them in a way that they don't have to play most of the fourth, where you build a big enough lead that by the 8-minute marker, you're throwing out the bench.
I mean, we're talking like 2015 Dubs here.
Yes, I know.
They're not they'll be that quite.
But the Suns were doing that. What the Suns were able to do with Chris Paul last year, where they would go in the fourth quarter and they use usually Cameron Payne time because they built a big enough lead with Chris Paul in the first 3.5 quarters that the 2/3 of the fourth it was Cameron Payne out there because they built enough lead. I feel like that's something you want to do where by the 5-minute marker we've got a big enough lead so we can throw in Norman Powell and Robert Covington for Kawhi and Paul George.
Mm-hmm. Man, they're so freaking talented. This team is just so good, dude. They're like,
I'm sticking by that. They are by championship favorites out the West, if healthy.
Every flaw I had with them, like my only flaw really was, I mean, I can't really count health. My only flaw with them was a point guard position. Like, yeah. Reggie's nice. He's definitely going to get you some assists, 17, 4, and 5. Terrence Mann can even get you some assists, but I just felt they needed that true. I think Reggie's more of an energizer off of the bench, but now you could even do a little bit of both. I mean, we're talking about injuries to Kawhi and Paul, but, John Wall might need to get, or they might be in a position where they're able to do that with John Wall. No back-to-backs. I wonder actually even if he's going to play back-to-backs. Is Kawhi going to play backbacks? Probably not.
I wouldn't play either of them back-to-backs.
The thing is, they made it in the deep as hell Western Conference with Paul George. Kawhi missed a whole year. They had Paul George play 31 games, and they were able to make the play-in tournament. Like, sheesh.
And that's with a bunch of players being traded and also suffering injuries at other positions. Okay? So, again, the whole thing with this Clippers team is can they stay healthy? And I think this is the year. I mean, also, I think we're all both in agreement that if they have another year of injuries, they're blowing this team up.
Let's blow it up ASAP. Yeah.
Like, if they have another year that both Kawhi Leonard and Paul George can't stay healthy, I'm sorry, guys. You gave it 3 years.
It's tough.
You agree with me that, like, let's say it happens again that they're a play-in team or they are the 8th seed because Kawhi Leonard and Paul George couldn't play more than 50 games. I'm Steve Ballmer, and I'm just like, hey, guys, I love you. You're both fantastic basketball players. We gave you 3 years. We kept building the team up. I love Ty Lue. and I want to give Ty Lue an actual team that's going to stay healthy, I think it's in our best interest to trade G2.
If there's a package out there, yeah, maybe.
Well, I'd only trade them. I'd only blow it up if I can go out and,
get the valuable assets in return.
Yeah, because I wouldn't rebuild it. I would try to retool it. Just be like, okay, kind of Toronto Raptors it, where the Toronto Raptors never did a full on rebuild. They traded, DeMar, got Kawhi, then they lost Kawhi, but they had one bad year and they were back.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what they would do with Ty Lue. They'd be like, hey, maybe we trade away Kawhi and Paul George either for assets, and maybe we take a gap year, or we just retool and we get a bunch of young guys that we feel like could have some value.
Yeah, they're flexible enough. They have enough options.
Because you could see a team like the Blazers, if they're trying to give Damian Lillard one more, package Anthony Simons and some, Jeremy Grant for Paul George or Kawhi.
Yeah.
Same thing with the Nets. If the Nets fuck up, you could see a Kawhi KD swap. That's a good package.
Whoa. That'd be Kawhi in a Nets jersey doesn't work for me.
I know. I was just throwing out there that like a lot could change, and if stuff doesn't work out for the Clippers, things probably won't have worked out for other teams. Now, let's talk about what else did we have on the agenda. I wanted to talk about the Toronto Raptors bench, which is actually yeah. So the Toronto Raptors, it's interesting when you look at this team. I'm trying to find a good picture that really encapsulates the bench in a way that I think, you know what? I think this one encapsulates what we feel about this Raptors team. And the Raptors, what was something that the Raptors were always known about? Their bench. I like this picture. I think this picture gets the message across. The Raptors, when they won, you remember everybody was like the Raptors bench mob. And for me, they rebuilt that bench. Also, guess who got released today?
Svi?
Yep, Svi got released today.
That was today.
They released Svi today. He wanted a fresh start, and they gave him that fresh start. But the Raptors, yes, there's a lot of guys who are on training camp deals, which I know some people don't care for. Gabe Brown, and I believe, you could argue Gabe Brown, and is Ishmael Wainwright still on the team? I don't think so. Gabe Brown, I guess Justin Champagnie and DJ Wilson are all arguably training camp guys, but I think DJ will be on the team. Either way, starting lineup, or the guys that obviously main rotation: Siakam, VanVleet, Trent Jr., Anunoby, Boucher, Thad Young, Scotty Barnes, Otto Porter, Precious Achiuwa, and I guess Juancho Hernangomez and Otto Porter. So right there, Kem Birch probably and Malachi Flynn are the last two. But behind there, that's really, I think if you start to look at the bench is probably going to be a combination of Thad Young, Chris Boucher, Otto Porter, Kem Birch, either Precious Achiuwa or Gary Trent, depending on how they do that starting lineup, Juancho, Malachi, DJ Wilson. Okay, before you even hit a combination of Justin Champagnie, Delano Banton, Jeff Dalton, Ron Harper Jr., and whoever else will make up the bottom, this team is like deep. And I think this is something that they were always good when they were this freaking deep.
Mm-hmm. That was a crazy bench mob, man. Yeah, what? Freddie, OG, Powell, Gasol, Boucher, was he quite there? I know OG wasn't quite there. I don't know if Boucher definitely wasn't quite there.
I don't know
if he was there.
I think Boucher, he was there. I don't know if he was.
I don't know if he
Chris
played
Boucher.
much. Yeah, no, he definitely wasn't, because OG wasn't even.
OG was still like, yeah. Chris Boucher was there. Dude, Chris Boucher started with the Warriors.
Really?
But, yeah, Chris Boucher during their championship run played 13 minutes a night, averaging a block a game.
How did I not know that? Really?
Well, also you have to understand. You have to understand that when Chris Boucher left college, he was 25.
Okay, I had to fact check that because he played one game for the Warriors.
Yeah, but he was like on their G League. He won a champion. He won back-to-back championships. He won a ring with the Warriors, and then he won a ring the
Toronto.
following year with Toronto.
He was on him and Patrick McCall were running that. I have concerns, all right, and I don't like it.
Why is that?
As Thomas Perry is saying, well, their bench is really good, but the guards. Maybe you do what you did last year, and you have Scotty Barnes sub out after 3 minutes, and he rolls with the bench you. And in fact, that'll probably be what happens. But
or you could have Fred VanVleet.
What about Fred?
Have
sub
Scott,
Fred out?
Yeah, and have Scotty and Gary. Like you can run Scotty, Gary, Trent, OG, Pascal, and Precious, and then when you sub out Freddie, and then you have Freddie run this, be the guy. Unless Malachi Flynn could be taking the jump.
That's what I'm worried about is Delano Banton and Malachi Flynn. Like, I know Malachi's blowing his ass off this summer in these pro-ams, but I think when I look at this Raptors team, you have a championship roster. I'm getting rid of Malachi by the deadline if it's not working, because this is a championship caliber roster, and if Malachi and Delano, because I don't think Delano's quite there yet. He'll show you flashes. We saw Malachi do really, really well at the end of his rookie season.
He struggled last year.
If he's Malachi last year, goodbye. I'm sorry, man. Malachi's a really cool guy coming out of college who was like really enticing, especially because of his defense. But I would like figure something out immediately, because I'm not saying you have to go out and get your, Colin Sexton, but I'd figure something out. I'd rather have TJ McConnell right now than a combination of Delano Banton and Malachi Flynn. But that's just me. I mean, I just don't trust their backup point guards because they haven't given me a reason to trust it. So until I'm proven wrong, that's just my one caveat. That to me is the single and sole weakness of the Toronto Raptors. This team was so talented last year, and they were not supposed to be this talented. Rap fans kind of knew that they were going to be a solid team, but playing a whole season in a different country in a different, like you're playing in Florida, it's just weird. It was a weird year in general, but Thomas is excited. He's got to take that role, man, because if he doesn't, I got to figure something out immediately.
No, I think it is interesting because right now, behind Fred VanVleet, who's their only pure point guard, it's Delano Banton and Malachi Flynn. They do have Ron Harper and Jeff Dowden. They don't really have any other. Behind Otto Porter Jr., there isn't any traditional shooting guards because Otto Porter is their only traditional shooting guard. Like OG can play some shooting guard. He's athletic enough. Scotty could, but they're both not. They're more wings / forwards. Delano can play, shooting guard, but he's more of a point guard, if not a wing. But he's more of a point. Malachi Flynn's kind of small for the the shooting guard. They really don't have a backup shooting guard, so I assume they don't really have a shooting guard. They just play. Two wings and a forward and a center.
Yeah.
So, I think at this point, it's really a make or break year for Delano Banton and Malachi Flynn. Like, Banton's going to be pushing Flynn, and if Flynn doesn't work out, it's Banton's,
I don't think Banton's on the hot seat at all.
No, Banton's not on the hot seat, but Banton's pushing Malachi Flynn.
Hopefully he is. I mean, Delano definitely showed a bunch of flashes, and he only played 10 minutes a night, but he played 64 games. I really want it to happen. I really just want Malachi to get that going like he did at the end of his rookie season, man. It's just make or break right here.
Did he drop 100 points this summer
No, what was it? It was like was it 70?
74, I think.
There are some guys on the see, that's where things get tricky is I don't want to mess with the interchangeableness and the defense of the Toronto Raptors. So you really have to be kind of selective here when we're talking about backup point guards. But there are still a bunch of guys out there. I mean, I don't know your thoughts on Dennis Schroeder going to Toronto, but
I thought about that. No.
I'd rather even have Rajon Rondo than what they have right now, just to get things. I would want Rajon Rondo and like
DeLon
put Malachi
Wright.
at shooting guard.
DeLon Wright would have been the perfect guard for
yeah.
them to bring in,
Oh,
as he used to play for them. And if they could make a trade for Corey Joseph, he would be really good for them, Corey Joseph. But looking in free agency right now,
I have the guy.
Are you about to say DJ?
No,
DJ
it's
Augustine?
No, it's Facu. Facu's a guy.
Oh, Facu Campazzo would be perfect for them.
Make it happen, Masai.
Or the other one, Alfred Payton.
Yeah, I just concerned with Alfred.
If they're confident in Banton and Malachi Flynn, they shouldn't even be looking at point guards. They should be looking at Jeremy Lamb to be their backup shooting.
Jeremy Lamb would be money for him.
Jeremy Lamb's perfect. Yeah.
Yep. I like that a lot.
I love the idea of Jeremy Lamb going there. But, oh, shit, we're forgetting that they brought in as a backup shooting guard. Still hasn't been officially signed, but he's been working out in Toronto Raptors gear, Jared Culver.
Oh, are they really?
Yeah, I made a video on it. I forgot that. Yeah,
that's cool. He's man, if he gets a shot, like he could be deadly for him. But he's a good he'll be good for him.
My dog's like zanned out.
It's your dog?
Yeah, I had to give her Zans because we're taking a picture of her to put on the composite. So she's just zanned out.
My goodness.
But continue.
I don't really know what it was.
We're talking about I'm so sorry. No.
Yeah. No.
Go!
No, I have nothing. Jared Culver's cool and all, man, but I need that shooting. Give me shooting. Seth Curry.
What if Jared Culver just comes out and like literally just found his game in like Toronto?
3-point shooter, 10 points off the bench. Stud.
Jared Culver wins most improved player.
Oh my god. If Jared Culver wins most improved on the Raptors, the Raps are my finals pick.
Literally, Jared Culver averaged what he averaged his freshman year at Texas Tech, 11.2 points, 1 steal a game, 2 assists, 5 rebounds, 38% from 3, 45 from the field. He's winning most improved player.
It's a pretty lame year for most improved then.
Oh, wow. You're a hater.
11 points is giving me most improved. Oh, fuck. I don't like that.
You suck, bro.
Look at this year. It was John Morant, Jordan Poole. Guys who scored more than 11. Basically.
Guys who scored more than 11.
I don't think 11 will get you most improved.
I mean, if you went from averaging nothing, maybe.
But that's the thing is he didn't average nothing. He
basically averaged nothing. We will be switching to the Cleveland Cavaliers now. Cleveland Cavaliers were a team that was one of the hottest in basketball last year, but then injuries hit them. And then they had a lack of depth that really made them fall off. My nose is so itchy. Oh, my God. But a lack of depth that made them fall off from being top dogs. What are your thoughts about these Cleveland Cavaliers? They brought in Raul Neto, Ricky Rubio, okay? They kept Karis LeVert. Colin Sexton looks like he's coming back on at least a qualifying offer. And, I mean, they drafted Ochai Agbaji, and they brought on a two-way contract Isaiah Mobley, the older brother of Evan Mobley. They still have Lamar Stevens, brought back RJ Nembhard. Dean Wade still at the bottom. They brought in Robin Lopez. Still have Dylan Windler, Isaiah Curro. Jetty Osman's looking like a dog for Turkey. What are your thoughts on the depth? And they still got Kevin Love, baby. Kevin Love.
I would say if you have a breakout from Isaac Okoro, this team will make definitely the second round. If you get a breakout year from Isaac Okoro, this might be a conference championship team. What's that stat? It's 50% of teams that don't make 50% of teams that made the playoffs won't make the playoffs the next year.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like thinking, the Heat are not a threat to me. You have your top dogs, but I'm thinking like outside of Boston and Milwaukee and Philly, I don't feel like I'm pretty sure Cleveland could beat any team in a series in the first round. When I look at Isaac Okoro, and here's the reason I'm bringing this up. First off, defensively, he's a phenomenal stud. They're a very big, long team, and it fits out perfectly. You have Darius Garland, you got Isaac Okoro, you have Lauri Markkanen, who's a phenomenal, just consistent, great, he's solid defensively, can knock down threes. Then you got, Mobley Mob, you got Jarrett Allen, and then, everybody on the bench, Karis LeVert, they great moves, and Robin Lopez and Raul Neto as well. Ricky Rubio controls that unit. Isaac Okoro in the second half of his season this past year shot 44% from downtown. That is very impressive to me. He went from 31% to 44% from downtown. Isaac Okoro, I think if it wasn't what did I do? Was my pick Kevin Porter Jr.? He would be my low-key breakout, most improved player. I would put money, a very small amount of money for a very big payout on Isaac Okoro winning most improved because DG will get him the ball. They're good in transition. They're good on defense. Defense leads to offense. Isaac Okoro is already great at defense, and if he's shooting 44% from downtown, it's going to open up a lot of things for him. But this is a very talented team, and they're going to make it to the second round of the playoffs. But in my head, no doubt.
I mean, I've been feeling Lauri Markkanen a lot. I think Lauri Markkanen's going to have a great year this year. He had one of the best years shooting. Lauri, I think he's a small forward now. He's a 7-foot tall small forward. Okay, and I personally think, and also if you've been following him, he's been playing pretty good for Finland. Listen to this. This is his last 5 games. On June 30th, he dropped 22 and 11. On July 3rd, he dropped 19 and 7. On August 18th, he dropped 42 and 9. On August 25th, he dropped 28 and 9. On August 28th, he dropped 18 and 9. And in those games, he's been shooting 6 to 12 3-pointers a night.
Jeez. This is what we thought we were getting with Lauri after his second season, and he's dropped 20 and 9 with us.
Yeah, and he's averaging through these 5 games about 2 steals a night and about half a block.
Oh, yeah.
So for me, I think Lauri, if it's either Okoro or Lauri that is going to have the big year. Plus, we're forgetting about Ochai Agbaji, who's going to come in and hit the 3-point shot for them.
Sexton's big get as well. I like that it's not a 3-year.
Yeah, I think Sexton's gone either after the season or by the deadline. Maybe they call up a team and be like, hey, you want to rent him for half the season and maybe, entice him. Hey, if you play really good to finish out the year here, maybe you come back and resign.
Yeah.
Because also
they have a lot of options right now.
Yeah, they have a lot of options. And I think personally, this Cavs team, at the very least, what they were, the 6th seed, correct?
No, they made the plan.
Yeah. Wait, they were a playing team? Then they were the 8th seed. I think this team is easily the 6th
right?
seed. One second, we're checking.
I blank. This playoffs last year was so freaking lame.
So for this,
they played the Nets they played the Nets.
Yeah. They were a playing team. One because they lost in the play-in. Yeah,
brutal. They ran out of depth.
Literally.
They were a great team in the first half, and they also had one of the hardest schedules. They had a top 5 hardest schedule. Might have been 1 or 2, but I don't want to get that wrong. I know for a fact they had a top strength of schedule first half of the season.
Yeah, it was unreal.
Don't forget about Kevin Love, the leader. Leader of this team. Kevin Love, the leader.
I mean, Kevin's going to come back and have a freaking great year. He had a great year last year, and he got robbed of his 6th Man of the Year trophy.
Yeah, Kevin Love's dope.
I love Kevin Love. I mean, Kevin Love averaged 13.6 minutes. Again, another guy who played less minutes and had better stats than the year before when he was playing more minutes. Even though Kevin Love this season before was, what was it? Was he spiking or kicking basketballs?
Still, he was doing everything.
Didn't he come out and say that he was like suffering from depression, like serious depression, because he went from being, obviously on a
With
champion.
LeBron,
Yeah, LeBron, and then he was on an abysmal. Like he said, he lost for a second. He lost the love of the game, and like he basically said he was depressed and he was just like not wanting to be there anymore. But now he's happy.
He's back. Yeah, he's back. That he was a high five guy. He was great for Cleveland last season, even just like outside of the 13.5, 40% 3-point shooting.
Yeah, no, I get you 100%. Oh,
this dog Zand up?
Yeah.
Did you accidentally give her like Ritalin?
No. I'm actually looking at her tooth right now. Oh, did I just make you bleed? I'm sorry. I just made her gum bleed, but by accident. My earpiece fell out, but no, she is jammed up, but she wants to go on a walk, so she's letting me say
this joke again.
What was the joke?
Oh, all right, Michael.
What's the joke?
All right, Michael.
I don't get it. Michael Scott?
Michael Vick.
No, my dog ate some peanut butter, so I didn't know if her teeth was stained from the peanut butter, or it just means I need to start focusing on brushing her teeth more. But I'm going to have to go. I'm getting a call. So have a good one, bud.